and the people that we're telling that to have been offered services multiple times, and so now they've put themselves squarely in the criminal vagrant role, not a homeless person that is downtrodden. So we
And I take Chief Wolf's point, which I thought was really well made, which is these are not people who need to be connected to services. They are people who have rejected services over and over, which is, different.
Problem. Our next item on the agenda is item 4A, ordinance number 5531, to adopt the 2026 Parks, Recreation, and Open Space Plan. Our presenter tonight is Parks and Recreation Director Tim Barker.
Welcome, Mr. Barker.
Thank you, Council. And Ms. Stewart, I'd like to let you know that last year at this point, when I was brought on to staff, I actually had to answer a bunch of questions. So you got lucky. Yeah. So get out. Yeah, you better run. Okay, thank you, Council, for allowing me to speak again today. Just have a few comments to make today. Last meeting on December 3rd, you heard a more full presentation, so I won't put you through that again. So since I made a formal presentation at the last meeting, I'm just going to make a few comments. The PROS plan is a culmination of 9 months of public input through in-person meetings, surveying, and comments provided to staff through emails and social media, in addition to opportunity for the public to provide comments at the City Council meeting on December 3rd with our first public hearing prior to today. The plan before you is a result of many hours of work completed by staff and the Parks and Recreation Commission prior to their approval of the draft at their September commission meeting. It is a plan that includes priorities that we believe greatly reflects the feedback that we receive from the community members and users of our parks and recreation facilities. It's not perfect, but we are very proud of this product that we have before you and for your consideration tonight. There are a couple changes that were made that are, most of them are written into the document that's in your packet today that weren't in the packet for December 3rd. And some of those changes were made based on feedback from council and from the public. So most of those are related to various comments within the main portion of the plan, but in addition to goals number 2 and number 7, we have updated those, and so you do have the current information there. In addition to that, on page 37, after receiving some comments back today, I would like to propose a change for you to consider. On page 37, the bullet under management concerns within the Kiwanis Park area. So just for public information, each of the pages related to the inventory within our park system lists a description of the park, inventory, management concerns, and improvement recommendations. And as one of the management concerns within Kiwanis Park, it mentions the term vagrant, and I'd like to change that to unhoused population. So if we can make that change there. The term is used within the survey, which we cannot change at this point, but we will make that change in future surveys that we do put out to the community.
So, Mr. Barker, just for the record, that note has been changed, and so if the council votes on the main motion, it will reflect that change for the record.
Thank you. And as far as that, that's the end of my presentation for today.
Okay, thank you, sir. So the purpose of this public hearing is to accept public comment and action as anticipated. With that, does any member of the public wish to comment on this item?
All right. If I may, I don't do well when I'm interrupted. It like throws me completely off what I'm reading, and I didn't get half of what I read. So my name is Robin Weldon, and I had a whole big, long comment about vagrant and the use of the Dickensian offensive word vagrant. But I would like to thank Mr. Barker for taking that word out. That was what bothered me more than anything. It is just an offensive slur, and hatred of the poor is called aporophobia, and there is a culture here of that in the policies that have been by this council, the anti-camping, the broad anti-camping law, where it's where people are arrested or rousted or for just being, because they can't afford to live inside. So they're constantly being moved along, and the parks are the safe place, the public place, the place for all of us, every single one of us. Thank you.
Roy Runyon, District 6. I haven't carefully reviewed the plan, but I noticed in my quick review that there are several omissions. When I see the words open space, it just doesn't refer to formal parks controlled by the Parks Department. We've got school playgrounds, we've got facilities owned by the utilities that are not actually included in this, quote, open space plan. So I think there's some omissions, and I'd prefer that a comprehensive look be taken at all the open space in Bremerton. Also a question, there was a standard, a previous parks director pulled out a plan dated from 1944. 1944 was a year when we had 80,000 people living within the city limits. But the standard was we need to have a park within a half-mile walking distance of every Bremerton resident. That's such an unrealistic goal. Is that still driving this plan? Is that still the standard? And if so, what would that cost, not only to create, but also to operate and maintain? We have problems with operating and maintaining our facilities. Things are falling apart as far as I can tell. We have more employees than we've ever had. Now we have an HR director, and we can't seem to maintain the city. So District 6 specifically, there's a park called Arvon Park. That's not on the plan. Is that no longer a park? Was that surplused? There's actually an ordinance with requirements for the city council, unanimous vote of the city council to surplus those park facilities. So I don't see that anywhere. It's been neglected by the city. It's not maintained. Nobody has access to it. It's fenced off. So I'd like to hear about that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Runyon. So before we get the next person, I'd like to address the questions if we can, if I can remember them. Mr. Barker, you've heard there. I think Mr. Runyon had 3 questions, and I'll try to remind you if you need a prompt.
If I ask you for a prompt, is that me putting you on the spot?
No, I'll just restate the question.
That would be appreciated.
Yeah. So first, let's do the low-hanging fruit, the Armand Park.
Arvon.
Okay. Does that exist? Is it in the plan? What's going on?
It exists. It is one that we will be recommending for surplus. There was a previous agreement, but would take the council to. It is an unused park at this point. It has a very small playground that's no longer safe, and so that's why it's been locked off. It's a very small. It doesn't fit our standards for our park sizes either, and is a property that will be looked at for surplus.
Okay, very well. I think the first question was more of a comment, if it was the first one, and that has to do with open spaces that aren't owned by the Parks Department. Those aren't addressed in the PROS plan, is that correct?
That's correct. Our focus of the PROS plan was on properties that we can manage, that we manage currently, and that we have control over.
Okay.
That doesn't mean on the backside that we don't have conversations with other governmental entities for partnerships down the road, or that we may look towards unused property for potential park development. It's just not addressed in the plan.
Okay. And the last comment Mr. Runyon brought up, I believe, was the necessity or the desire to have a park within a half a mile of every resident in the city. Could you address that?
Yes, and that's a national standard through National Recreation and Park Association. That's what we refer to in the plan as a 10-minute walk. So this national standard or goal is to have a park for every resident within a 10-minute walk of your residence.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Next, Mr. Camacho, go ahead, sir.
Jose Camacho, Francis Smith Cove, Rock the Block. In 1972, the Supreme Court ruled that vagrancy law, as an entire body of centuries-old law, was just outright wrong, and he essentially said it was un-American. The term vagrant isn't even used. It took Bremerton to resurrect a dead word and an unconstitutional concept, and it is interspersed throughout the PROS plan. Mr. Barker didn't apologize or retract the plan, which is what I asked when I pointed out the wrongfulness of that word vagrant being used in the PROS plan. That's why he's removing it. So good for him. It's a little bit late because the survey had the leading question to the public. If you say the parks are this or that, is it because of the vagrant issues? So this is a leading question. It essentially teaches and indoctrinates the public to look at homelessness as inherently a problem of criminality. And it was my fear that the culture in the city and the parks was exactly that, because Mockler had proposed hosing the homeless. And I was shocked, and I identified myself as one. I've slept in parks. So that was my fear. I asked, can you stop the clock and reconsider whether this is a thing? And the PROS plan indicates that it is a thing. The parks are the primary public space for people to simply be. There is no other example of a pure sanctuary for urban people. So now when the homeless go there, including with their advocates and communities, just to have a break and celebrate or relax, to sleep, to relax, sit down, whatever, now they're targets. The city has an unconstitutional targeting regime that is called the anti-camping ordinance. I've seen the videos. It's unconstitutional. You won't let people be. You treat the poor very distinctly from regular people. We've seen it. Jocelyn's testified about it for years. So now in the place of sanctuary, of peace, meditation, you guys are okay with having the public drop the dime and target any person who looks poor. It's a disgrace. And Mr. Barker and you guys should have no problem saying, my bad, we're sorry, we're going to retract this, we're going to start over. You have yet to censure Mockler for her disgraceful comment. And she's a human being, and we all F up. But that was a milestone in depravity for an elected official. It's not impartial. That targets the poor. The PROS plan should be withdrawn. You should not vote on it.
Mr. Erickson, could you see if there's anyone online?
There are no hands raised online.
Thank you, sir. Go ahead.
Dan Herron, District 6. I was going to talk about vagrancy, and it looks like it might be removed, but I came all the way here, so I'm going to put my 2 cents in. So, get my glasses on here. All right, so vagrant is generally considered inappropriate for several reasons. It stigmatizes language. It carries negative connotations and implies moral failure or criminality rather than circumstance. Lack of precision. It does not accurately describe someone's housing or economic situation. Historical and legal baggage. The term is tied to discriminatory vagrancy laws used to criminalize poverty. Inconsistent with modern standards. Public agencies aim to use neutral person first language and reputational legal risks. Its use can undermine public trust and invite criticism. So I do hope that you change the thing as recommended and get rid of the word vagrancy. Thank you very much.
So again, for the record, the change has been made.
Hi, I'm Sarah. And JJ.
And JJ, yeah.
Sorry, I'm nervous. We're homeless, and we stay in the shelter. I'm a mom, so is JJ.
Most of them moms.
Most of the women at the shelter are moms with small children as well. There's elderly, disabled, LGBTQ, all walks of life in there. And we have to leave the shelter at 9 a.m. and can't return until 4. And a lot of times we go to the parks, take our kids there. There's ladies there that go there to feed the birds and just enjoy the park, mind our business. We're not criminals, we're not vagrants, we're just people.
Yeah, and so, you know, using this kind of verbiage in our community is just really hurtful and harmful to people. And I don't know if you guys realize that, but like yesterday, like the babies, like we have 3 girls with babies and they're sitting out in the rain and you're persecuting us like this. It's just not okay. And I think that we need to reevaluate as a community the way that we're treating our citizens. So,
yeah. And just keep all that in mind when you're making your plans.
thanks.
Anyone else?